everybody, good morning. Welcome to our Foreign Languages Preparatory School. My name is Sozana Sharairi. I am the Richmond level listening and reading teacher. We will spend a nice one live lesson together on TV shooting of Üsküdar University. Okay, as I just mentioned, Richmond 11 listening class we will have now, and our new book is the Contemporary Topics 1. Yes. Our first unit is psychology, and the main topic is happiness. Please, everyone, look at the main cover and look at the photo of the people. Please. What is the first impression? Please focus on the people's faces. What is your first impression about their faces? How are their shapes? They are smiling, they are looking cheerful and happy. Okay, our first unit topic, happiness. Psychology is the study of the human mind and human behavior. One branch of psychology is called positive psychology. This is the study of happiness. So, I want you to think about these two questions. What makes people happy? What does happiness means for you? How can people become happier? Please think about this question, and we will focus on our first unit, happiness topic. Okay, as I just mentioned, if we want to connect to the topic happiness, psychology, our first unit of Contemporary Topics 1 book, is the study of the human mind and human behavior. One branch of psychology is called positive psychology. This is the study of happiness. What makes people happy? How can people become happier? Please think about it. And I want you to focus. What do you think is most important for happiness? Number the statements in order of importance. 1 most important, and 2 and 8 least important. And the topic, as I just mentioned, is happiness. So, having a lot of money, okay, do you think is enough for being happy in our lives? Or having many years of education is also important for being happy? Having strong religious beliefs, is it important also for you? Or being good at your job? It's one of the most important reasons that can make people happy in their lives. Or having a lot of free time. Is it an important reason also? What do you think about it? Or being young and healthy. Is it important for people's life? Having good friends. How important is these criteria for being happy in our lives? Or helping other people. Does it make us feel happy helping other people? Yes. Thank you very much. Okay. We will listen an audio related to the happiness.
Unit 1, page 2. Connect to the topic. Part B. Tune in.
Today, we have a topic that I think will make you smile. The topic of happiness. My guest today is Professor Stefano Tassi. Professor Tassi teaches a popular college course on happiness. Professor, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, my first question is, how do you define happiness?
That's a good question. We often say that there are 2 kinds of happiness.
2?
Yes, we've identified 2 types of happiness. Short-term happiness and long-term happiness.
Okay, and how are they different?
Well, short-term happiness is the type of happiness you feel now, in the moment. It's when something specific makes you happy. For example, you've just heard some good news, or you're sitting on the beach on vacation, or you have just enjoyed a nice dinner with your family. Short-term happiness is happiness that is caused by specific events.
I see. Very specific.
Yes, it's specific. So this feeling can often change from day to day.
And long-term happiness?
Yes, long-term happiness is different. Long-term happiness is the level of happiness you feel generally in your life. It doesn't depend on what is happening that day. This level of happiness stays the same throughout our lives.
I see. So a person who is generally unhappy can have a great day and feel happy, but for a short time.
Right. And a person who is generally happy can experience something bad and feel unhappy, but for a short time.
Got it. A person's long-term level of happiness doesn't usually change. So interesting.
Okay, thank you very much for listening. According to our lecture that we have already listened, the audio, how do you define happiness? There are two kinds of happiness according to the professor's lecture. First one is short-term happiness. Okay, what is short-term happiness? It is the type of happiness you feel in the moment that is caused by specific events. It might be something that you are hearing in news and make you happy, a momentary issue. This happiness can change from day to day. It's temporary. Short-term happiness is a temporary kind of happiness. The second one, according to our lecture, second type of happiness is long-term happiness. It is the level of happiness you feel generally in your life and stays the same throughout our life. So it's not a temporary type of long happiness. It is a forever type of happiness that based on people characters. Okay, before watching our lecture and video, I want to focus on the basic vocabulary of our topic and test. Okay, the first word of our unit is achieve. Achieve is a verb and it means to succeed at something. Achieve is to succeed at something. Example, if we want to use this word in an example, in a sentence, if you achieve good grades in school, you need to study hard. So what is the meaning of achieve? Again, to succeed at something. Thank you for listening. Our second word is characteristic. That's a noun. What does characteristic means? Qualities for features. If we want to use it in a sentence, in an example, Rose has several characteristics of a good student. Or example, she is intelligent, hardworking, and enjoys learning new things. So what is characteristic again? Our second word that is a noun, qualities for features. Our third word is connection. That's a noun again. What does connection mean? A relationship between two things. Okay, the example that's used in a sentence of our word, children have a strong connection to their parents. They need their parents and don't want to be separated from them. So again, what is the meaning of our third word, connection? That's a noun, a relationship between two things. Our first word is data. What is data? Information or facts. We gathered data about our class. We wrote down everyone's age, gender, and hometown. Okay, so what is data? It is information or facts. The fifth word is goal. Okay, another noun. What is the meaning of goal? Some things you hope to do in the future. Something you hope to do in the future. Okay. I set a goal for myself. I want to go to graduate school and become psychologist. Something you hope to do in the future is the meaning of the word goal. Another word, gratitude. It's again a noun, and the meaning of gratitude is the feeling of being thankful. I feel a lot of gratitude toward my parents. I am thankful for what they've done for me. So again, what is the meaning of gratitude? The meaning of gratitude, it's the feeling of being thankful. Income. Okay, what is income? Again, a noun. Income means money that a person earns. Money that a person earns. Jawad has a good income. He has enough money to buy a house and live comfortably. Okay, so what is income again? Money that a person earns. Measure. Okay, what is the meaning of measure? It is a verb. Find out the size, weight, or amount of something. Okay, to check a child's health, doctors usually measure the child's height and weight. So, what is the meaning of measure again? Find out the size, weight, or amount of something. Method. What is method? Method is a way of doing something. Method is a way of doing something. Okay. If we want to use it in an example in a sentence, this word, one method psychologists use to help unhappy people is to talk to them about their feelings. Another is to give them medication. So what is method again? A way of doing something. Number 10, personality. Number 10, personality. What is the meaning of personality? This word is again a noun. The type of person you are, shown by how you behave, feel, or think. Okay, you can see a child's personality at a young age. Some children are quiet and shy, while others are outgoing and friendly. So again, if we want to focus on the meaning of the word personality, it's the type of person you are, shown by how you behave, feel, or think. Relevant. Okay, relevant is an adjective and means related to a subject. What is the meaning of relevant? Related to a subject. I am getting a degree in math. I don't need to study psychology because it isn't relevant to my major. Okay. Requirements. Okay, requirement is a noun too and means something that is needed. A graduate degree is a requirement for becoming a psychology professor. You must have it in order to teach at a university. So what is requirement again? Something that is needed. So thank you very much for listening and focusing on vocabularies. Okay, another word is research. What is the meaning of research? It is again a noun. The detailed study of a subject in order to learn new facts about it. My professor is doing research on the psychology of happiness. So, what is research again? The detailed study of a subject in order to learn new facts about it. Our last word is strength. That is a noun. What is the meaning of this word? Good qualities of a person. So, if we want to use this word in a sentence, she has many strengths that help her to be a good psychologist. For example, she works well with other people and likes to learn new things. So what is the meaning of strength? Again, good qualities of a person. Thank you very much for listening our vocabularies and focusing on them and paying attention. Now, I want you to take notes because we will going to listen a lecture. So our new activity now is note-taking practice. So you are about to watch the unit lecture on happiness. Take notes and answer the questions based on the lecture by referring to your notes. Pay attention to the introduction to help you focus on the main idea and organize your notes. Now it's the note-taking time.
Good morning, everybody. Today I want to get started with the main topic of this course, happiness. First, I want to talk about how psychologists like myself measure happiness. Then, we'll look at some common characteristics of happy people. And finally, we'll look at whether or not we can change our level of happiness. In other words, whether we can learn to be happier. Okay, so we all know what it's like to feel happy, right? But how do we measure happiness? One common method psychologists use is interviewing people. First, we ask them questions to find out how happy they are, how happy they feel in general. Then, we gather information about them, like their age, health, income, and so on. We use all of this data to determine the most common characteristics of happy people. So, what have psychologists learned? Well, there are a few characteristics we know are not relevant to happiness. One of them is having a lot of money. As long as people have enough money for a home, food, and clothing, having more money doesn't make people happier. So money doesn't buy happiness. Are you surprised? Another thing that is not connected to happiness is having more education. People with a lot of education are no happier than people with little education. So now maybe you're questioning your decision to take this class, huh? Finally, a third characteristic that is not a requirement for happiness is youth, being young. In fact, the opposite is true. One study found that 60 to 64-year-olds are actually happier than 20 to 24-year-olds. So, we know that money, education, and youth are not important to happiness. Then what is? Well, there's no one way to achieve happiness, but there are a few specific characteristics that happy people have in common. One very important characteristic is family and friends. A study of students at the University of Illinois found that the happiest students had strong connections to family and friends, and that they made time to spend with them. Another common feature of happy people is that they have religious beliefs or a belief in something bigger than themselves. This helps them feel that life has significance or meaning. A third important thing about happy people is that they set goals for themselves. In the workplace or in their personal lives, they establish goals around things they find interesting or things that allow them to use their strengths. Now, another question psychologists have tried to resolve is, can we change how happy we are? Can we learn to be happier? Some psychologists think the answer is no, we can't. This is because research shows that happiness depends a lot on our personality, the kind of person we are. Some people just have more positive attitudes about life than others. We've all noticed this, right? And because it's difficult for people to change their personalities, some psychologists think that we stay at about the same level of happiness throughout our lives. But many of us in the field of positive psychology believe we can change, that we can consciously learn to be happier. Positive psychologists have developed some exercises that people can do to feel happier. One of these is called the gratitude visit. In this exercise, people write a letter to someone they want to thank. For example, a parent, a friend, a teacher, someone they feel has helped them in their life. But they don't send the letter. Instead, they visit the person and read the letter to them. Now, research shows this really works to make the person who wrote the letter feel happier. Why? First, it helps them feel more connected to others. And remember, that is very important for happiness. Second, the people are giving something, in this case, their thanks, to someone else. And giving or helping others makes us feel better about ourselves. It helps us feel that our lives have meaning. In addition to the gratitude visit, psychologists have developed other exercises that help people focus on the positive things in their lives and help them use their strengths to achieve goals. And studies have shown that these exercises can help people feel better. However, they do have limits. For one thing, each exercise only works for a certain amount of time. For example, the gratitude visit only makes people happier for about 3 months. And of course, we can't become a lot happier. Remember, we can't totally change our personalities. You can't take a really unhappy, negative person and make him or her feel super happy all the time. But I do believe that if we really want to, we can all learn ways to feel better, to feel the best that we can. And you're going to find this out for yourselves. For the next time, I'd like you to look into choosing your own happiness exercise.
So, thank you very much for listening and watching our unit's lecture. Now I want you to focus on your notes, and we will focus together, of course. Okay, according to our lecture. So, how is the measurement of the happiness according to some psychologists? Okay, if we want to measure, do we have to focus on the characteristic, or is it a method that can change the level of happiness of the people? Let's go together and focus on our notes according to our lecture. Okay, 1. The measurement of the happiness. How does some psychologists measure this? They are interviewing people. So, when they are interviewing people, what kind of questions are they asking to the people? How happy they are. And they are getting information from the people and using these data for the common characteristic. Okay, do we remember what kind of questions were the psychologists asking while interviewing the people? The questions were basing about the people's age, health, their jobs, and psychologists were collecting this data and were using for the common characteristic for their research. Okay, the characteristic. Okay, the happiness, according to some psychologists, okay, the things that are not relevant to the characteristics for being happy is money. Firstly, some psychologists think having a lot of money is not a very strong reason for being happy. Okay. Another issue is the youth. Some psychologists think being young is not a good or very enough reason for being happy. Between 60 and 64 years old people are happier than the young people, according to some psychologist researchers. Some common characteristic. Again, according to some psychologist research, having strong connection to family and friends is a very important reason for being happy. Or having strong religious or other beliefs is a very good reason for making people happy. Setting goals for people's private lives or for their jobs is a very good reason for making people happy. Can we change the level of happiness according to some psychologists? Some psychologists think that changing level of happiness is impossible because some personalities' attitudes are not positive. And it's very difficult to change their attitudes and mind. Therefore, some psychologists think changing the level of happiness is impossible. But there are some positive psychologists too, and they think the opposite. The positive psychologists think that people can learn to be happier. But how? With exercises for feeling happier. Like, what is one of these exercises is the gratitude visit. What does it mean? With the gratitude visit, we are writing letters for being thankful, but we are not sending these letters to the people. We are visiting the people that we are writing letters for them, and we are reading the letters for them. Okay. Why exercise work? Some psychologists think the exercises are working because it makes people to feel more connected with each other and gives meaning to life, helping others people make people feel happier, according to the researchers of some psychologists. What are the other exercises? Other exercises are focusing on positive, on people's goals that can focus on their private life and their jobs, or using strength, qualities, features of the character. These kind of exercises can make people happier, according to some psychologists. But of course, these exercises have a limit. They cannot make people forever happy. It's work with people to make them happier for 3 months, because you cannot completely change the people's personality, according to some psychologists. So, conclusion is, all can learn to be happier. We can learn of being happy by exercising ourselves. Now, what I want from you to read your notes, to write down the keywords and their meanings. And on your notes, please explain the main ideas of the lecture. How psychologists measure happiness. Characteristic of important for happiness, and characteristic important for happiness. The characteristic that's not important for happiness, and the characteristic that are important for happiness. So I want to focus together with you on our notes. If we want to review our notes. How psychologists measure happiness. Measuring happiness has some methods, like interview people about how they feel and collect data about them, about the people. What kind of data does some psychologists collecting while interviewing the people? They are asking them questions about their age, about their job, and about their health. And according to some psychologists, the characteristics not important for happiness are education, money, and being young. Being very educated or having a lot of money or being very young are not enough reasons to make people happy, according to some psychologists' research. But characteristics that are important for happiness, according to some psychologists, again, having good friends, having good connection in our families, having strong beliefs, and having goals. Having goals related to our lives, jobs, or other issues are enough reasons and common reasons for making people happy. How can we learn being happier? We can learn being happier by exercising ourselves, like gratitude visit. Do you remember what was gratitude visit? Gratitude visit was an exercise type that we used to write, that we write letters to people, but we are not sending these letters, and we are going to the people that we wrote the letters, and we are reading the letters for them. So, thank you very much for listening and focusing. Here, I want to use your notes to decide if these statements are true or false, that based on the lecture. Let's focus together on the statement number 1. Psychologists measure happiness by interviewing and gathering data on people. Is this statement true or false? Please think about it and do the statement. 2. One study found that 60 to 64 years old have the same level of happiness as 20 to 24 years old. Is this second statement true or false? We will do them together. 3. Statement 3. Having religious or other beliefs help people feel that their lives have meaning. Number 4. Happy people set goals that are easy to achieve. 5. Research shows that people can easily change their personalities. 6. Positive psychologists develop exercises to help people feel happier. 7. In the gratitude visit, people give a gift to someone they want to thank. 8. The gratitude visit helps people feel more connected to others. Number 9. Positive psychologists believe that happiness exercises help people to feel a lot happier. Now, let's do the statement together. Number 1. Psychologists measure happiness by interviewing and gathering data on people. The first statement is true because, according to our lecture, psychologists measure happiness by interviewing and gathering data on people. Number 2, one study found that 60 to 64 years old have the same level of happiness as 20 to 24 years old. Is this statement true or false? The second is false because it is the higher level of happiness. that is false. Number 3, having religious or other beliefs helps people feel that their lives have meaning. Of course, yes, and according to our lecture, of course, yes, and the third statement is true. 4, happy people set goals that are easy to achieve. Is it true or false, this statement? It is false, because goals that are interesting or that use their strength are the value, according to our lecture. Number 5, research shows that people can easily change their personalities. 5 is false, because cannot easily change people's personalities. People's personalities is not easy for, it's not, methods don't work with changing the people personalities. Number 6, positive psychologists developed exercise to help people feel happier. It is true. This statement is true. 7, in the gratitude visit, people give a gift to someone they want to thank. It is false, because people write the gratitude visit letters, then read their letters to the people who they wrote, and they want to thank. They are not sending the letters. They are visiting the people they want to thank and wrote the letter, and they are reading the letter. So 8, the gratitude visit helps people feel more connected to others. It is true. 9, positive psychologists believe that happiness exercises help people feel a lot happier. It is false. It makes people feel better, but this happiness is temporary, almost for 3 months. It's not make people a lot happier. Thank you very much for focusing on the statements together. Okay, please choose your happiness exercise and try to be happier for our lives. Thank you for watching. So see you as soon as possible with another online lesson. Have a nice day.